All right, next up is image balance tools. So this one here is going to be balancing your image. So first one is going to be real-time clipping, and it says keep as top layer. So basically this is for your highlights and shadows. It will tell you if you're clipping in your highlights or your shadows. If I click on that, you always want to keep that on top. All right. So here I can see that there is some clipping in the whites and there is some clipping in the black. So this is really cool. You usually can't see those clippings in Photoshop unless you go in Camera Raw or in Lightroom. So this is really, really cool. Um, so I want to remove those clippings. So I'm just going to use the second action, which is called fix clipping highlights and shadows. So this is going to remove the clippings without affecting the overall exposure. So I'm going to click on that. And I'm just going to bring that one on the bottom because the real-time clipping mask should be on top. So you can see there's no more clippings. So before and after, there's no more clipping. All right. Now, the next one is going to be lift shadows. So if you want to lift some shadows, remove some of that shadows and bring more light in, you can play that one here. And now you can just brush over the parts that you want to bring back some light. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe bring back a little bit in nose here, maybe in the eyes, maybe over here. And then you can bring down the opacity if you want, because that's a little bit intense, just like so. That looks good. That looks good and natural. So perfect. That's good. So before and after. Good. Now we can do reduce highlights as well. So if we click on that, now we can go over where the highlights are a little bit too strong and brush over these. All right. So you can see it makes a difference. So before and after, again, that's a little bit too much. So I'm just going to bring down the opacity to about maybe 30. Before, after, that's good. Now, next one is going to be warm up. So if you want to warm the image up and add some warmth, you're going to click on that one here. And it's going to look really, really good for that one, actually. It's pretty good. I'm going to bring it down a little bit, the opacity, just because it's a bit too much. So this is without, and this is a little bit, yeah, 40 is pretty good, actually. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm glad, I'm happy with that. So I'm going to make it maybe 50%, 49. Yeah, that's good. That's perfect. You can also cool down. So the next action is cool down. I'm not going to use that one because I want to have it more warm. So I'm going to delete that one. Next up is a light up. So if we want to light the image up, we can click on that one. Again, we can just bring down the opacity if we don't want it that strong. So maybe just a little bit, tiny bit, 15% seems good. Turn down the light. I'm not going to use that one because I don't need it. And dehaze is if you have a lot of haziness going on in your image. So this is going to happen particularly when you have some sun that is going directly into your lens. This will happen. So I'm just going to click on that one and show you how this works. So this adds a lot of contrast, right? So we don't have that much haziness going on in my image, but we can add a little bit, just a tiny bit. Something like 20% looks pretty good. So that is it for the image balance tools. Next up will be Color Cast Fixer.